On a sunny autumn afternoon, a scream echoed from outside. Wow, it's the legendary university. Anyone who approached this legendary university was pleasantly. He gladly accepted her invitation and waited impatiently for the event, knowing that he could meet someone special at that party. Assignment. The formulas and knowledge shone in his eyes as if they were a spotlight, and he threw the notebook onto the desk with all his strength. Lin Yang couldn't contain his emotions and shouted. The turmoil within him caused him to display such vivid emotions. However, his classmates and teachers responded firmly, advising him to watch his language and conduct himself in a more controlled manner. They also suggested that if he had any problems, he could share them, and they would listen and help him as much as possible. Following his sudden emotional outburst, Lin Yang realized his words had been inappropriate and apologized for his rash reaction. He himself hadn't realized how. He had scanned the book and memorized everything. He liked this ability and would use it again sometime. At the end of class, Lin Yang asked his friends to covered himself and went home to test out his superpower. For a couple of hours, he wandered through the city, visiting factories, parks, and streets. On one of the streets, there was a charger, and at that moment, a brilliant idea struck Lin Yang. He realized that his superpowers were connected to the ring he had recently acquired. Lin Yang didn't have wealthy parents, so he decided to accept a job as a dock worker to earn money for his school expenses. Upon entering the warehouse, he resolutely sought out the boss to discuss the possibility of employment. After 10 minutes, that felt like an eternity. The boss? It would be better if the party were held inside the building. Lin Yang knew he had every chance to win the heart of this beautiful young woman, and he hoped showed up at the location. The boss asked him, "Are you a medical student?" The boy proudly replied, "Yes, I am." He was discouraged because the students, they cannot dedicate themselves to such a demanding job. Lin Yang stood firm. Physical activity wasn't difficult for him because he was from the village and possessed a magic ring, was hired. The first task was to unload a wagon filled with sacks. The sacks appeared enormous and heavy, making the task seem daunting. The worker, seeing his efforts, he warned him, "If you hurt yourself, no one will pay you." To his touch, the bags felt as light as feathers. At first, he carried 5 bags at a time, which shocked everyone around him, because each bag weighed 200 kilograms. Concentrating his strength in his hand, he began to throw the bags into a pile. Lin Yang had learned to control his strength and concentrate it in his hand, allowing him to throw heavy bags over great distances. All the world marveled at his astonishing strength and throwing accuracy. He was now both feared and respected. Lin Yang continued to amaze those around him with his incredible abilities. He easily brought in all the bears in just 5 minutes, astonishing everyone around him. But what was even more amazing was that he was able to load all 550 bags in just 1 hour. People watched him, perplexed, not understanding how the boy was capable of handling such an enormous weight. The boss paid him his blood money, which amounted to 0. As he left, the boss said that the emu, he was confident in a future full of opportunities and romance. A furious Linda Hai, her eyes flashing with anger, suddenly approached Lin Yang and resolutely said, "From here was always for the best," and so that Yang would return to them. However, to Lin Yang's surprise, the boss's son was so impressed with his skills that he decided to pay for personally, but the boss said, "This guy is special, and we'll definitely need him someday." Next, Lin Yang's job was delivering water. The main objective of the job was to deliver water bottles to people, carrying them up a staircase because there was no other way to get them up there. The mentor had warned Lin Yang, telling him that it was hard work and probably not suitable for him. However, Lin Yang was unwilling to accept those limitations. He exclaimed, with excitement in his eyes, "Who says I'm going to carry them up the stairs?" Lin Yang. He was preparing a client to catch and take down Los Lobos. At first, people didn't understand what was wanted from them. Lin Yang picked up a bottle of water and threw them directly onto the customer's balcony, surprising people with this unique delivery method. This happened at the famous Fen Jun restaurant, located in a luxurious area of the city. It was a dining destination for the most powerful and wealthy individuals. Lin Yang heard that thousands of people from all over the world come to try their famous chop. Upon entering the kitchen, we see the chef yelling at the cooks for being too slow, complaining that they won't have anything to cook because they are taking too long. Preparing the dishes, the chef brings Lin Yang over and says, "This brat wants to be a butcher." Lin Yang looked at the chef and saluted. The chef decided to put, "Bully, let's settle this." The tension in the air was palpable, and Lin Yang realized the situation had become serious. The boy to the test. Lin Yang affirmed that he would dismember anything as long as he got paid for it. The chef threw down a board with a large pig on it and made it butcher the pig in front of him. If he refused, he was free to leave. The boss didn't have much time to waste. Lin Yang picked up a huge knife. All the cooks. They said that no one with such a physique could possibly work as a butcher. They figured the boy was only there for the advertisement money. The boy gripped the knife tightly, turned it sharply, and split the pig open. The end result was that both the pig and the cutting board were sliced through. The boss couldn't understand how this could happen. Lin Yang apologized for ruining the board and promised not to do it again next time. He was allowed to not pay for the board he had cut in half. The boy began to butcher the pig carcasses at lightning speed, all while wearing a horrified expression. The boss saw that the boy had talent. To that end, Lin Yang lay contentedly on the sofa. He had earned 1,000 inches one day and wanted to make money for his college tuition. His friend, he asked where he had gotten the money. Lin said that he had a part-time job and that he liked it a lot. His friend told him that now was not the time to work, that they needed to study, and offered to lend him money, up to 2,000. The friends had money and wanted Lin Yang to hang out with them. At least for money, the cheerful guy told them not to talk such nonsense. Lin Yang wasn't going to drop out of school, he just wanted to earn some money. He suggested that they all go out at night. Around, the conflict escalated, and a fight soon broke out. Lin Yang and Linda Hai exchanged powerful blows, each defending their honor and dignity. The city. The friends didn't want Lin Yang to miss out on having fun with them. They decided to take a break from their crowded nights of studying and walked through the illuminated street. They were enjoying the cheerful atmosphere and the pleasant company, but suddenly their appetites were drastically sharpened, and they simultaneously felt hungry. Upon entering an elegant restaurant, the boys decided to treat themselves to some meat and a glass of alcohol. Lin Yang took the glass of liquor in his hands. He smiled and cheerfully downed it. They then discovered that many students from their university had gathered at this restaurant. As Lin Yang began scanning the hallway for familiar faces, he suddenly noticed the beautiful Yang Le. She was emanating the strongest aura that Lin Yang had ever seen. The girl gave him a very strange feeling. The guys noticed that Lin Yang wasn't eating, couldn't hear them, and seemed to have his head in the clouds. Lin Yang said, he said that he would be leaving and returning soon. He approached Yang Lele's table and asked if she remembered him. The girl stood up and replied, "Oh, that's right, you're Lin Yang, isn't it?" An embarrassed Lin Yang confirmed that it was him. He then snapped his fingers, revealing a ring that emitted a faint pink glow. The girl explained that she had come with her classmates to enjoy some delicious food. Suddenly, Yang Lele smelled something delicious, became embarrassed, and they began to hug each other tightly. The girl didn't understand why Lin Yang seemed so cute, and she couldn't stop hugging him. Lin Yang looked at his ring and realized that something had happened again. The older student told the other boys to finish him off. If the teacher hadn't intervened, the boy would have died right there. Seeing the old man, Linda Hai said, "Guys, this ring caused a strange reaction in the girl." From the side, her friend Fen Xian watched her and anxiously inquired about what she was doing. Suddenly, Zhang Leila stopped hugging him and apologized for everything. Lin Yang was very happy to be embraced so tightly by his friends. Feng Xiang started to attack Lin Yang, landing a punch. Lin Yang's friends quickly rushed over and said, "You raised your hand against our brother. Get out of here right now." A girl curiously asked what Feng Xiang was doing. Feng Xiang replied that when they were talking to him about her love life, Zhang Lele confessed that she didn't have a boyfriend in mind. So, their mutual friend wanted to introduce Feng Xiang to Zhang Lele. But his behavior and his aggressive actions ruined the whole situation. If he continued to behave like that, all their efforts would be for nothing. Suddenly, it appeared. On his horizon was Lin Yang, whom he was embracing. The man offered to resolve the entire aggressive situation peacefully. Yang pointed out that he hadn't been in a serious relationship before, but everything changed with Lin Yang's appearance. He confessed that he used to think love at first sight was just a fiction, but now his opinion on the matter had completely changed. His heart fluttered when Lin Yang was beside him, and he realized that they had found each other, and that true love existed in this world. Feng Xiang angrily said that he had put in so much effort to win her over. He even combed his hair. "Let's go to Lin Yang." Once there, the teacher met with the exhausted boy and asked him how he was feeling and who the kids involved in the conflict were. But still, she chose that bastard. Yang Lele, speaking sincerely and with kindness in her voice, told her friend that they were just friends and that there were many people. Guys were following them, and he couldn't respond to all of them. He pointed out that he was a good guy and apologized for the situation. But Feng Xiang, unable to handle his heated emotions, suddenly shouted, blaming Lin Yang for everything. He called him weird and accused him of not considering Yang Lele as a possible partner because of his blame. Lin Yang, suddenly faced with the aggression, simply threw Feng Xiang back towards the table where the two strangers were sitting in order to avoid a fight. But then he realized that it was as if the two men had planned something. Those two men began to beat Feng Xiang, and he begged for forgiveness, trying to calm them down. They refused to apologize to him, and instead grabbed a bottle, intending to stick it somewhere. Yang Lele didn't. He couldn't bear to see his classmate being bullied, so he asked him to stop. The man, vaguely realizing who was in front of him, and why he should even bother listening to the girl, looked at her in disbelief. The man was certain that no one had the right to tell him what to do. Suddenly, he raised his hand, preparing to strike, but the girl, without any shame, stated that hitting people was wrong. The man laughed, disdainfully, not taking her words seriously, and retorted that if hitting was wrong, he would really hit her. But Lin Yang couldn't stand idly. In a hoarse voice, Lin Yang replied, "Of course not. Thank you for saving me, teacher." He thanked the teacher for intervening when he did, which prevented by seeing the girl threatened. So he decided to protect her and grabbed the man's arm, stopping him in his tracks. Lin Yang said clearly and decisively that hitting people, especially a girl, were not only in the wrong, but also cruel. The man was stunned and perplexed by the fact that the youthful Lin Yang possessed such an inexplicable strength. He helplessly begged Lin Yang to let him go, while also being curious about who this young man was. Lin Yang confidently and resolutely said that he would let him go if he would just put an end to this mess. But the man, without stopping, began to pull out a knife from his pocket, threatening the boy, and said, "Are you looking for death or what?" Yang Lele shouted at Lin Yang to be careful, but the man persisted in his stabbing attempt and ended up hitting Lin Yang's shoulder. The boy had already lost his patience, and his raging emotions took over him. He grabbed the man's arm and broke every bone in it with incredible force. The man screamed in excruciating pain, his cry echoing throughout the restaurant, drawing the attention of everyone inside. Enraged by the man's actions, Lin Yang pointed to his ruined clothing and declared that now the man would have to pay for them as well. The man's friends approached, brandishing iron pipes and with a fierce desire to beat Lin Yang. Lin Yang shielded the girl behind him and braced himself for a fight. He confidently and easily handled his attackers. However, disaster. The teacher had seen them in the gym and would speak with them tomorrow about this unacceptable situation. As their conversation came to an end, the teacher, his friend, warned him of a potential threat from behind. At the last moment, Lin Yang didn't have enough time to avoid a glass bottle smashing against his. He turned his head and immediately responded to the aggression, knocking the attacker down. Lin Yang's friends realized afterward that he didn't need any help. The boy wanted to get money to replace the damaged sweatshirt. He grabbed the man's wallet and took money from it. Lin Yang told the men that they should disappear. They could barely walk and were holding onto each other for support. Lin Yang's friends approached and praised him. They were proud of him and wanted Lin Yang to share his technique, but Lin Yang resolutely stated that he would never share this information. Lin Yang was worried about Feng Xiang's health, and suggested that he see a doctor to address his injuries. Feng Xiang sincerely apologized to Lin Yang for his previous actions and behavior. Negative realized his mistakes and was willing to change. Lin Yang's girlfriend, Lele, was amazed that the boy she thought was ordinary, and the extroverted Negative was also an expert in martial arts. Lin Yang, wanting to continue chatting with Yang Lele, suggested they go out to eat together. His friends, they respected his decision and went home, giving him space to continue socializing. Yang Lele's second friend took Feng Xiang's hand. They went home together. The two lovers stayed to eat. At first, they were stunned and very shy. Lin Yang's heart beat, handed Lin Yang some money in an envelope for treatment, wanting to show his care and support during this difficult time and help Lin Yang recover from faster when he found himself next to Lele, and a feeling of discomfort enveloped him. He wanted to say something, find a topic of conversation to ease the fording after. Tension eased as they became comfortable communicating again. So, to overcome the awkwardness, Lin Yang decided to do something that would express his feelings. Without a word, she decisively took his hand, hoping he would show her intimacy and affection. It's better to try and regret it than to not try and regret it. Their hands reached out to each other, and in an instant, they held hands. Lin Yang asked Lele, and she immediately responded, "Why don't we just skip it? Shall we skip ahead?" Lin Yang accepted Lele's suggestion to take a walk, and they ventured into the dark forest where there wasn't a single person. The path leading into the forest was mysterious and enigmatic, but they both felt they needed to be alone to continue their candid conversation. Lele was confused and bewildered by the strong feelings she felt for Lin Yang. She had a hard time explaining to herself why she had suddenly fallen so hard for him. She realized that he would have a hard time understanding it, so she decided to bravely express her feelings to him. Lin Yang smiled and said that he also felt something for her. He had long realized that she was special to him, but he didn't dare let it show in his thoughts, not believing that she could love him the same way. That was when Lele decided not to wait and offered to make Lin Yang her boyfriend. He was stunned, surprised to see that it was so elegant and modern, a stark contrast to his old village school. The grand buildings and the vibrant student life, his wounds. Lin Yang considered the possibility of taking revenge on those who had been involved in the fight. He was worried about the internal bleeding he sustained as a result of it. His heart was beating so fast that he couldn't even find the words to respond. But before he could even respond, Lele decided to go further and he kissed him directly on the lips. This unexpected and tender gesture awakened a multitude of emotions within him, happiness and joy. Lin Yang was both confused and delighted by the rapid pace at which things were progressing between him and Lele. He stared in amazement at the ring, which emitted pink smoke as Lele spoke about her feelings. Feeling warm and light next to Lin Yang, she felt her heart swell with joy and pride. Lin Yang felt responsible for Lele and for their relationship, and he decided to escort the girl back to her dorm to ensure she arrived home safe and sound. The girl immediately realized that she had given Lin Yang the first kiss of her life. She didn't realize what she was doing. She thought she was dreaming. Lin Yang asked, "Are you all right?" Lele responded that she didn't know why, but that she couldn't control herself around him, and that it was better for him to stay away from her, for his own good. Lin Yang understood and walked behind her. When they got home, they started to ask Lin Yang how it went, what happened, what didn't happen, and whether he became Layla's boyfriend or not. He said he was a gentleman and wouldn't behave like that, and then kicked everyone out of his bed because he was going to sleep. His friends began to say that, "Gentlemen, don't brag like that." It surprised even his brothers, who really wanted him to teach them a technique, preferably 2 at a time. Lin Yang said that he couldn't teach them because he himself, his wounds. Suddenly, something strange began to happen to him. The ring he was wearing seemed to come to life, drawing back all of his injuries as if Lin Yang himself were treating them. Didn't know any of the techniques. They didn't believe him and attacked him together for fun. Lin Yang said he would teach them everything just to get them to stop. All his friends relented and let him off the hook. Everyone sat in the lotus position, waiting for Lin Yang to demonstrate some examples. 1. He suggested starting with the white bone claw technique, but the others didn't like it, arguing that it was a technique for women. Lin Yang realized that he himself didn't actually know anything, so he decided to just tell them something. He said he had studied their bodies and that they were ready to learn martial arts, but the training would be in a month because he didn't have the time right now. The friends believed him and eagerly anticipated the training. They started fooling around, doing different martial arts poses. At that moment, Lin Yang was tired and just wanted to sleep. The next day, Lin Yang decided to accept a job at the warehouse worker, as a loader, was full of energy and determined to show off his best skills. He took on the job with complete responsibility and enthusiasm. Throwing himself forward, he lifted and carried bags of rice with astonishing ease and speed. In just 1 hour, he easily loaded 100 bags of rice, and his success impressed everyone in the warehouse. The boss watched him from the sidelines and was amazed by his efficiency and ability to handle such a large amount of work. He could not believe what he was seeing and asked the other employees where Lin Yang had gotten so much strength and efficiency from. When it came to the task of distributing water bottles, he was surprised and bewildered, not realizing what was happening. Surprisingly, the aching throughout his entire body had stopped, and he had stopped. Yang continued to display his incredible skills. He performed with ease in physically demanding jobs, and his coworker couldn't stop, marvel at his strength and endurance. His companion told Lin Yang that he considered him the strongest person he knew, and was certain that Lin Yang could find a much better job than being a water delivery man. He offered him a position as a security guard where the salary would be higher. How impressive, 10,000 a month. After Lin Yang demonstrated his incredible skills at the water delivery warehouse, he decided to try his luck at something else. He accepted a job as a butcher in a restaurant and began chopping and cutting meat with enthusiasm. His skill and dexterity with meat was admired by everyone, and the restaurant chef considered him an experienced and talented professional. Lin Yang earned a lot of money in a single day's work, and, satisfied, He set aside a portion of his earnings to fund his education, eager to learn and grow so he could achieve even greater things, opportunities in the future. However, Lin Yang hadn't forgotten his friends and, wanting to share his happiness and success, decided to throw a party and bring them all together at a karaoke bar. Lin Yang was firm in his decision and didn't back down, inviting his friends to a very upscale establishment. Despite their objections, they tried to dissuade Lin Yang because the venue was so pricey, but it wasn't for nothing that he earned so much. They assumed Lin Yang didn't have that kind of money, and, bleeding from his nose, he felt relieved and happy. 2 hours before the fight, Lin Yang was walking downtown when he was suddenly called out by a offered to treat him instead, but he assured them that he earned plenty. One of his friends then recalled that he was actually a kung fu master and incredibly wealthy. While the kids were starting to enter the karaoke bar when a serious-looking guy in a suit pushed them aside. The boys aggressively demanded to know why the hell he was acting that way. The serious guy turned to them and said that even an idiot knows to give way to the owner. This place is too expensive for the likes of you, Lin Yang. He stood there, contemplating a solution to the situation. The boys were burning with rage, but decided to calm down since they had never been in this neighborhood before. At that moment, an elegantly dressed Mr. Wang and a guard headed straight to the karaoke and asked what had happened. The guard said, "It's nothing, just a small problem." Lin Yang's good friend was unable to calm down, but Lin Yang told him that they shouldn't take the situation to heart and start a fight. Enjoying themselves, the boys and Lin Yang were sitting in a brightly lit room with loud music playing. The boys started arguing while choosing a song for karaoke, but suddenly someone made a call using the wall phone. Lin Yang had no idea who the caller was trying to reach. Lin Yang got up and answered the phone. He said, "Hello sir, do you need something?" His friends were telling him to call Lele and invite them to karaoke. They wanted to know who was calling and what was going on. Lin Yang said that he was talking to Lele. His friends advised him, "What you become depends on what you say right now." The boy remained, jewelry seller. The boy was perplexed, wondering what they wanted from him. The seller displayed his merchandise and said, "There is something unusual in your eyes. A bright future awaits you." Perplexed by his friend's advice, he spoke with Lele and asked for her phone number and told her that they couldn't go out tonight. He gave her his number. They exchanged numbers and agreed to meet up later. His friends asked him why he wanted her number, and he replied that he thought she would keep calling him and harassing him. They continued drinking alcoholic beverages at the karaoke bar. After an hour of relaxing, Lin Yang began to feel unwell and said that he had drunk too much and needed to get it off his chest. When Lin Yang stepped out into the hallway, he saw Jun Rong wearing a dress. She was running away from someone, and the aura surrounding her was very intense, but she was being pursued by some men who wanted something from her. Lin Yang realized that he had to save Yun, and it was from her that strong rays of light emanated. He chased after them and, to avoid being spotted, hid behind a wall and observed them. Mr. Liu attempted to tear down the door, but he couldn't open it. The guards came in and asked what he was doing. Mr. Liu shouted, "You worthless guards, don't get involved in other people's affairs, unless you want to die." It turned out to be Mr. Liu, and the guards hadn't recognized him with his glasses on. He kept knocking on the door of the storter bathroom with more and more force. Rong begged for help and shouted, "Someone, save me." The man in front of the door was confused and surprised at how it hadn't fallen down yet, since it was made of wood and was already covered in dents and cracks from being hit repeatedly. However, he did not give up and continued, "Bright future." These words sounded mysterious, and Lin Yang couldn't help but feel that destiny had something planned for him. Lin Yang seemed persevering in his efforts to overcome the obstacle. Jun Rong, who was on the other side of the door, kept asking for help. Suddenly, the sound of knocking ceased, and the man delivered one final, decisive blow. His hand, brimming with strength and persistence, pierced through the last layer of wood in an instant, and the door collapsed. The wooden structure couldn't withstand the force and splintered. Lin Yang positioned himself in front of the blonde-haired girl, offering her security and support. He reassured her, telling her not to be afraid, because her pursuer was already lying on the ground. Seeing her pursuer lying on the ground, the girl realized that the danger had passed. She slowly approached the faucet and turned it on. The water gurgled as she began to wash her face. Lin Yang looked at Rong, perplexed, not understanding why she was doing that. He speculated that it might be due to the shock or the stress she was feeling from what had happened, but at the same time, he realized she was screaming in pain, and his heart clenched with worry. Her body was on fire for some unknown reason. Rong weakly shook his head. head, trying to say something, but the pain and coughing prevented him. Lin Yang cautiously asked Rong if he had accidentally gotten drunk, trying to understand what could cause such a strange and painful state. In response, Rong hugged Lin Yang with unexpected strength, clinging to him as if seeking comfort and security in his embrace. However, he still didn't understand what was going on, or what Rong meant by his. Unwavering in his confidence, he spoke about being the only student from his village. The salesman he was talking to tried to doubt his words and behavior. He was confused by this strange and unexpected situation, and his thoughts were racing as he searched for answers. At that moment, the blue-haired member of the household was working on his sinister plans. His gaze was brutal and merciless, and his thoughts were filled with dark intentions. He said that simple tricks wouldn't work on this woman, so he decided to use Viagra, holding it in his hand to stimulate his sexual powers. Then, they discussed how she would probably call him dad, meaning she would confess her love or accept his authority. Then his phone rang. The news he heard caused him to lose consciousness. It turned out that the girl had run away, abandoning them, which broke his heart. He became enraged and confused, not realizing where he was or what he was doing there. He had a vague feeling in his mind, as if he were lost. Some important event must have happened, or they robbed him of his memories from the previous night. Anxious, he realized his clothes were missing and began searching for them. His clothes were scattered around the room, but he couldn't find anything. Lin Yang's heart pounded in his chest as he realized he wasn't wearing any underwear. "I'm no longer a virgin," he exclaimed to himself, excited. He wondered if June was involved in this situation. Or did he drug me and leave? He thought, trying to understand everything that had happened. He began searching for John throughout the house, only to find him in the kitchen preparing food. She asked, "You're already awake, Lin Yang?" He even insulted him, calling him a geek. The salesman's words undoubtedly hurt Lin Yang, but he didn't allow himself to be offended. He knew that beauty and Lin Yang replied, apprehensive, "That's right." He looked for his clothes, but it turned out that Yun Rong had washed them and bought him new ones. He gave him clothes to try on. Yang felt a little uncomfortable standing in front of the girl who wasn't wearing any clothes. However, the girl assured him that there were plenty of places he could go to put on his clothes, and that he could choose any of them. She joked that she had already seen everything and could change her clothes right there without any problems, but Lin Yang thought that it would be more comfortable to change clothes in another room. She decided to maintain her modesty and went into the room to put on her clothes. After she finished changing, the two sit down to talk in the kitchen. Lin Yang felt her gaze fixed on him and asked her what was causing her so much interest in him. The girl, with a smile on her face, began to ask Lin Yang about his life, how old he was, what his name was, where he was from, and what he did for a living. Lin Yang openly sharing information about himself. Lin Yang felt an atmosphere of trust developing between them. Unable to contain his curiosity, he then asked him who the girl was. He replied with a mysterious smile, saying that she is Jun Rong, 23 years old. But Lin Yang could call her Rong. He said that when he is close, she wants to be even closer to him. Rong called him her favorite. Lin Yang couldn't help but wonder who was behind Rong's bullying. When he mentioned Xiang's name, his face furrowed slightly. He heard her say that she didn't understand why she was being treated that way, which made him worry about her safety. Perfection were subjective concepts, and that it was more important to be yourself, regardless of the opinions of others. The salesman then showed him Lin Yang asked who Wang Xiang is. It turned out that Wang Xiang was an influential businessman, the head of the successful Dow company. His family had a long history of ties with Lin Yang's family ran deep. Their parents had known each other for a long time. 3 days prior, Rong's company ran into trouble, so she asked Wang Zheng to lend her $5 million. She didn't know that bastard would try to take advantage of the situation by taking her to a bar and getting her drunk, but she resisted and fled from him. Rong hugged Lin Yang tightly, thanking him for saving her. If it hadn't been for him, she couldn't imagine what might have happened. Lin Yang had a thought related to Wang Xiang. The guy said that he had to leave right away because he had a lot of work to do. Yun Rong asked very sadly, "Are you leaving already?" Lin Yang kissed her affectionately on the forehead. The girl was surprised by this action. Lin told her that he was studying at the Faculty of Medicine and that he could go to seeing Verl in his free time. Lin Yang exchanged numbers with the girl and went home. When he arrived, his friends asked him where he had been. They asked about last night and why he hadn't answered his phone. Lin Yang didn't tell them anything about Rong, instead saying, "Sue came to see me last night and told me that his cousin was sick, so he went to see him in the hospital last night. His friends didn't believe him because his house is very far from here, and they doubted he even had a cousin. Lin Yang happily said. Yang, it's normal to have a distant relative. Lin Yang went to sleep, but he couldn't. He was tormented by Lin Lele's feelings, Yun Rong's affection for him, and special ring designed specifically for Lin Yang. He claimed that wearing it would make anyone more beautiful. It was an unexpected offer, but the cost of the Arli, the fact that his strong abilities were due to the ring. He felt stronger every day and was curious about the ring's past. He realized that, although I would spend all night thinking about it and still be unable to figure it out. After getting some sleep, Lin Yang decided to start looking for Wang Xiang. He originally went to the computer room, but he didn't know Wang Xiat Teng and had never even seen him before. Not wanting to get discouraged, Lin Yang decided to resort to the internet to search for information about Wang Xiat Teng. He opened a search engine and began typing in keywords related to the general manager's name and the company. Gradually, the screen filled with various search results related to Wang Xiang's name. Lin Yang began to scrutinize each link, searching for useful data about him. It turned out that Wang Xiteng was an extremely rich man who possessed a considerable fortune, but among his wealth. But there was a problem. He suffered from erectile dysfunction. The more Lin Yang delved into the world of the internet, the more he realized the wealth of information that was available to everyone. However, as Lin Yang studied the information, he began to realize that Hang Zheng and his family were not simple and serene individuals. One of the most surprising discoveries was an article or post that claimed that Hang Xiang was related to criminal matters, likely involving some negative events, and Lin Yang was surprised him. It was 9-year-old Lin Yang, who had come to study at Ichi Senshi Medical University. The boy grew up on a ring was astronomical, no less than 998 yuan. For a student from the countryside, it was an amount that far exceeded his budget. Lin Yang grew suspicious when the boat that at least 7 girls had died because of him. Lin Yang shouted, "What rubbish!" And the latest news revealed that Wang Xiang would be interviewed in front of Tianyu Tower, and considering Rong had become Lin Yang's girlfriend, he decided to confront the criminal for daring to kidnap Lin Yang. He went to the store and bought a shopping cart full of groceries, and at the register, he requested a receipt. Then, outside the Tianyu Corporation, he stepped onto the red carpet. The interviewer greeted him and requested an interview. They contacted his secretary and scheduled an interview for that day. They asked Wang Xiang if he was prepared. Wang Xiang confirmed he was, as he had been preparing for it for several days. The interview then commenced. The first question concerned Tianyu's finances. Lin Yang disguised himself by stuffing his black clothing with cotton, ensuring no one could detect his scent, so he decided, put his plan into action. Wang Xiang said, "I founded Tianyu 6 years ago, and in the beginning, we focused on import, export, and retail." Lin Yang sped up and jumped towards his opponent. Wang Zheng didn't realize what was happening and was very nervous. He landed a heavy blow on the forehead. The guard shouted, "Mr. Wang," and immediately ran over. The guards yelled, "Get out of here! Get out of my way!" Wang lay motionless on the ground, and Lin Yang walked over and broke Wang Zheng's leg. The man screamed at the top of his lungs. What happened to Wang Xiang was all over television, causing shock, and the seller claimed that the broken ring was worth a ridiculously high price. He realized that the seller was trying to deceive him, and he wasn't going to fall for such a scam. Meanwhile, strong emotions among the public. The news reported that the owner of the Tianyu company had been attacked by an unknown assailant. Details of the incident were still unclear, and the police were actively investigating to find the culprit. Wang Xiang suffered serious injuries from the attack, with multiple fractures to his face and legs, leaving him in serious condition. The situation was so serious that he had to be immediately hospitalized to receive emergency medical treatment. Following the tragic event, Wang was consumed by rage and despair, unable to calm himself as he desperately tried to figure out who had dealt him such a cruel blow. Outraged and with no better outlet, he poured his emotions onto the nearest object, resulting in the remote control and the television being shattered to pieces. Wang Xiang tried to imagine who his attacker could have been and what could have caused such an attack. What was particularly intriguing was that the investigating detectives were unable to determine who this unknown assailant was. He was cleverly disguised and acted so quickly that not even seasoned professionals could keep up with him. Wang Titen's anger grew by the minute. He couldn't accept that someone would dare attack him and leave him in such a pathetic state. He expressed his frustration with the detectives, considering them useless and incapable of finding that villain. He demanded that the culprit be immediately identified and caught, threatening. As he negotiated, the price of the ring gradually decreased, first to 88 yuan, then to 48 yuan. Lin Yang was persistent and knew how to haggle, but with a punishment that would make him beg for mercy. Junrong was surprised that someone dared to strike Wangan. No one was able to figure out who the attacker was. Lin Yang sat down wearily in the garden, complaining about how uncomfortable the clothes were. A friend came over and asked if he had seen the news. Lin Yang asked what news he was referring to. The cheerful friend replied that Wang Xiang had been beaten up and expressed how happy he was to see the video of it. He said, "Oh, by the way, Lin Lele was looking for you several times today. She didn't even have your phone number." He had called Lin Yang, but he didn't answer because he was busy, so he turned off his phone. A friend then gave him Lin Lele's phone number, and Lin Yang decided to call her. Lin Yang said, "Hello, this is Lin Yang. I heard you were looking for me." Lin Lele said that she wanted to invite him to the aquarium and asked if he was available. Lin Yang said yes, and they agreed to go tomorrow morning. The guy had no plans for tomorrow. Lin Lele was happy that he didn't turn down her invitation. Wang continued to express anger and irritation, particularly towards the detective who couldn't find the criminal. He deemed him incompetent and humiliated him with words, unleashing his rage on the man. The detective was suffering greatly. The detective tried to calm him, because bringing it up would only reopen his wounds. However, despite the detective's attempts to soothe Wang, his emotions remained out of control. Consumed by anger and despair, Wang hurled the iron cup with all his might, heedless of the consequences. The iron cup, he also understood the true value of the item and wasn't going to overpay. In the end, after an hour of bargaining, he managed to purchase the ring for 6 yuan, struck the detective in the face, causing blood to gush from his nose. However, the drama only escalated further with the arrival of a new man, Wang's father. This self-confident man entered the room. He seemed to be a man of great authority and power, and his presence unleashed a wave of emotions and tension throughout the room. From the hospital, Hang Zitan's father, looking confident and authoritative, tried to calm his son, telling him that it was useless to get angry now. He explained that he sent his men to scout the area and that they would soon have some clues that would help them find the culprit. However, Wang's behavior was excessive, and he insisted that his father hand over the attacker to him as soon as they were caught. Wang was consumed by a thirst for revenge and wanted to avenge himself on whoever had committed such a brutal attack against him, wanting to tear him to pieces. To this, his father responded without hesitation that there was no need to worry. Wang could do whatever he wanted with the attacker once they caught him. It was a surprising declaration that essentially gave his son free rein to do as he wished. Darker. In this villain arc, Lin Yang met with his friends for a meal, and they happily exchanged news and gossip. The excitement grew as they were talking about the big event happening tomorrow. Lin Yang had a date with a beautiful lady. The guys couldn't hide their excitement and keen interest. They shared details about how Lin Yang was going on a date with a college beauty, Lin Lele, who was studying in the music department. After, the seller sat on the road, overjoyed. It turned out that the ring he was selling had been found by him in the trash. Upon returning home, friends learned about Lin Yang's upcoming date with Lin Lele. Everyone was shocked by the unexpected news. However, immediately after, his interest began to focus on another important matter. When Lin Yang would teach them martial arts techniques, they saw him as an experienced fighter, and they wanted to learn from him. However, Lin Yang replied that in martial arts, not only was desire important, but also natural talent. However, their conversation was suddenly interrupted when the door to the room was abruptly kicked open. Some strangers appeared before the friends, and everyone was perplexed, not knowing who they were or what they wanted. The evildoers said, while eating, "Bon appétit, bastard." They made fun of him and made threatening comments, causing irritation and anger in his soul. The question of which one of them was Lin Yang sounded like a challenge, and he responded with, confident that he was the one who would inflict grievous wounds upon the wrongdoers. He shouted, "Receiver, you're just a punk who hurt my brother, and you're still acting arrogant in front of me." However, Lin Yang's friends, who were watching this perilous situation unfold, didn't stand by doing nothing. They alerted Lin Yang about the knife, warning him of the added danger. The situation was about to erupt. The attacker, consumed by rage and hatred, uttered threatening words, predicting a painful death for Lin Yang. But Lin Yang refused to be dominated by fear. He bravely seized the hand of the attacker, became curious and decided to test the ring. He tried scratching it with a knife to check its quality and durability. Lin Yang was shocked by what he saw. Wielding the knife and used his strength and martial arts skills to break the bones in the attacker's hand. The sound of the cracking bones and the scream of pain, shocking everyone present, The attacker screamed in agony while clutching his arm. The bandit's companions remained silent for a moment. Sighed. He confidently addressed the attacker's companions, asking, "Do you want one too? Should I start fighting you? Or are you going to leave?" Leave? His words were a challenge, offering them an opportunity to back down and avoid conflict. The bandit's associates tried to play it off as a joke and wanted to settle things peacefully. Lin Yang didn't hit him. He simply said, "Get him out of here. And if anyone wants to fight me, let them look at him. And think about the consequences." The bandit's associates said they would never mess with Lin Yang, and they picked up the bandit and dragged him away from. Lin Yang saw Linda and said, "You remember what I told you. If you ever come back here, I promise I'll break your nose again." Linda admitted her guilt, apologized, and begged to be released, pleading with him not to break her nose. "I won't mess with you again," she said. Lin Yang shouted, "Get out of my sight!" Linda thanked him for forgiving her and left. Entering the room, his friends marveled at how strong and impressive Lin Yang was. Lin Yang calmly said, "They were just street scum." Lin Lele and Lin Yang went to the oceanarium together to spend time together and enjoy each other's company. He watched as the deep scratches on the ring instantly vanished, as if they had never existed. It appeared as though the ring was being restored right before his eyes. Happy smiles shone on their faces. They were very excited about this encounter and the opportunity to spend time together. Entering the oceanarium, they saw a wide variety of sea creatures. Lin Lele was surprised, commenting on how strange the fish looked, and that they found themselves in an amazing underwater world. Lin Yang, who loved to joke, said with a smile, "Yeah, they usually become tastier if we roast them." But Lin Lele immediately retorted, "Come on, we're on a date. There's no need to bring up a grocery store here." The guy decided to change the subject and mentioned that at the seafood restaurant behind the oceanarium, they could choose fresh seafood and cook it themselves. He thought it would be an interesting experience and the opportunity to enjoy a delicious meal in a cozy atmosphere. The girl didn't respond to this suggestion. Lin Yang was really bored because he felt that the fish was useless if he couldn't eat it. In the distance, he saw Kato Yuan walking with a wound on his arm and moaning in pain. The guy noticed that the man was in trouble and decided to help him. He told Lele that he was going to buy a snack and would be back soon, but instead, he went to see what was wrong with Kato Yuan. Kato Yuan. Kato entered the bathroom and collapsed, helpless. Suddenly, Lin Yang saw a guy with a dragon tattoo. A dark aura emanated from that guy, black that was reflected all over his body. The black aura seemed very creepy to him, and he felt like this man had killed people before. He didn't understand how this was happening and was baffled by the strange phenomenon. Various thoughts and assumptions swirled around in Lin Yang's head. Tattooed guy passed by Lin Yang. He felt a strong chill. The tattooed guy approached the place where the injured man was lying and began trying to force the door open. Door. Behind the door. Kato Yuan told Lin Yang in Japanese to stop, saying that something felt foreign and the language sounded familiar. The tattoo guy. He ripped the doorknob off, approached the wounded man, and said, "You're not dead yet." He pulled knives out of his pockets and threw them at him. Lin Yang didn't let him kill him and caught all the knives with his bare hands. After that, a bunch of small pods were launched towards Lin Yang himself. He caught them instantly and said, "Wow, I caught them so easily. I can't believe I'm this fast. Don't you think you're too far away to kill me?" After saying this, the glasses guy prepared his knives, but he didn't have time to use them because Lin Yang's hands were much faster. After the fight, the man with glasses was lying face up, completely drained. Lin Yang questioned him, asking why he wanted to kill him and what he had done to deserve it, but received no response. Kato Yuan then exited the stall, and he expressed his gratitude to his savior, who could speak his language. The wounded man said, "Thank you very much. And why were they trying to kill you? We can't stay here for very long. Please, follow me." "Lin Yang, I came here with a girl, and she's waiting for me with food," Kato Yuan said. "You can bring her along as well. I'm staying at the Yimby Hotel right next door." Lin Yang was surprised that he was staying in the Grand Hotel, which implied that he was very wealthy. From the oceanarium, they traveled in a luxurious, business-class car. He guessed that this ring might have a special history behind it. He considered that it could be related to the old man's grave, the one who sold him the ring. The idea sent to the Yimby Hotel. Kato Yuan, leading the way, guided them. Lin Lele, feeling a bit embarrassed by the sudden change of plans, then asked, "Lin Yang An, why were you here so suddenly?" She was worried about the tickets she had paid for, as they would expire soon. The man explained with confidence. He said, "Madam, this is an old friend of mine. I was inviting both of them to my house when I happened to see him. He seemed smiling and friendly. He also told them that he had tickets to the oceanarium and that he would give them the tickets a little later so they could go whenever they wanted. They were pleased with this offer, since the oceanarium was an interesting place to visit. Lin said to him enthusiastically, "Great, I will definitely use them." She was excited about this opportunity and was already imagining how they would spend their time at the oceanarium. On the way, they encountered a girl dressed in a red jumpsuit. Both girls seemed attractive and mysterious, but Lin Yang noticed that the glow emanating from their auras was different. This sparked his curiosity, and he resolved to discover the reason behind the difference. He figured that the girls might be foreigners and wondered what their special abilities could be. He decided he needed to find a way to get to know them and learn more about them. Lin Lele, noticing that her boyfriend, Lin Jae, was looking at the girls with too much interest, approached him and pinched him, whispering, "Don't stare at them like that." The man with glasses introduced himself as Kato Yuan. He explained that the girls accompanying him were in the service of the young master. Their names were Osawa. Ran shivers down his spine. He sat angrily on the bed, calling the salesman an idiot. Where did that ring even come from? After half an hour, the exhausted boy fell, and Osawa Shu. Lin Yang was surprised to hear Kato's last name and asked, "Your surname is Kato. Does that mean you're very skilled with your fingers?" However, Kato Yuan did not. He understood what I was talking about and seemed puzzled by the question. Lin Yang got off and revealed that he was a student, a nearby university. He became curious and asked Kato Yuan what had happened at the oceanarium. Kato Yuan replied that it was a long story, and then asked Lin Yang, "You know about the 6 consortiums, right?" Kato Yuan explained that he was a butler for the first consortium, the Matsui family. He said that a week ago, his master had gone to visit Husu, but encountered a problem on the way that he couldn't resolve. So, Kato Yuan came to China with his master, his sister Osawa, and 30 bodyguards. But an unexpected surprise awaited them. The master died of an illness on the second day of their arrival. Upon arrival, they encountered an enemy assassin that same day, who mercilessly slaughtered all 30 guards. Lin Yang's interest was piqued, and he wondered if he could defeat this enemy of the first consortium. Lin Lele was startled and completely perplexed, wondering what other murderous consortia existed. This seemed like a movie script. Kato Yuan began to bow deeply and said, "Mr. Lin," Lin Yang asked in surprise, "Why are you doing this?" Lele, frightened, echoed the same question. Kato continued, telling, "Lin Yang, China is a great country filled with many wonders. Master once told me that many people with extraordinary powers live here, and you have the potential to become modest but cozy farm, surrounded by loving parents and endless worries about the family's livelihood." But today, he was becoming asleep. However, he couldn't remove the ring, no matter how hard he tried to take it off. The thought that he was cursed crossed his mind. Suddenly, a thick white gas emerged from one of them. He then begged Mr. Lin to protect his young master. Kato continued, "Please, Mr. Lin, you can do it. We believe in your abilities." Lin Yang, seeing the fine Tao, with tears in his eyes, Kato tried to calm him down, saying, "Why are you crying and kneeling so easily? You're a man. Come on, get up quickly," Kato responded. Sadly, Lin Yang would have to protect the young master for 7 days. He also clarified that the ladies would assist them in this task. Kato continued, with their requests. "In the end, we will have people to take the young master back when things improve. Master Mutsu will thank you for this. Please, please help us." The kneeling women were also pleading for help, their voices filled with anxiety and hope. Lele turned to Lin Yang and asked, "They are pleading so pitifully, can you help them?" Lin Yang looked at Kato and the lady, and then replied, "Thanks to the Grand Consortium, we should be fine if everything goes well. But if we lose, it will be terrible." However, the reason he would help them was to get the Osawa sisters, or he would regret it for the rest of his life. Lin Yang agreed to help them and lifted everyone to their feet, showing determination and courage in the face of danger, and her friends were impressed with her resolve. Decision. Suddenly, someone entered the room, breaking the silence. Lele turned to see who it was. The room became noisy, and Lin Yang attentively observed what was happening. Perhaps these were still the unexpected twists of fate that awaited them and the new trials that they would have to confront. Nothingness, making him feel intensely hot. He couldn't tell if any of it was real or just a dream. As he floated through the thick gas, he saw a girl dressed in red and realized, "I'm going to end the recap here, so guys, if you enjoyed this video and want a part 2, let's aim for 1,000 likes on this video. Also, please subscribe. Head over to the channel click the notification bell and leave a comment. See you in the next video. He realized it was a powerful dream, but Lin Yang didn't understand who she was or what she wanted from him. A mix of feelings washed over him, fear, surprise, but also a strange affection for this mysterious girl. He was so agitated that his breathing became rapid and uneven, and his nerves were completely on edge. Suddenly, as he got closer to the girl, something strange began to happen. He felt his health deteriorating and started to writhe in pain. It was some kind of incomprehensible reaction as he approached her. He had the distinct feeling that he had seen that girl somewhere before, but he couldn't remember where. His memory grew clouded, and he tried to fast, remembering what connected him to that mysterious beauty. Suddenly, the girl grabbed his face and pressed Lin Yang's head against her chest. It was a bizarre moment that caused him confusion and fear, but at the same time, left an indelible mark on his heart. And then, when the boy's head was close to the beautiful girl's breasts, beautiful girl, something was about to happen. But before anything could actually occur, their moment was interrupted by a knock at the door. Yang woke up, discovering that it had all been just a dream. He was annoyed that his beautiful dream had been interrupted. The door to his room burst open, and Lin Yang's friends, first student in his family. For him, the main advantage of the university was the pretty girls, but there were also many handsome boys. He knew that. Yang barged in. They demanded to know why he took so long to open the door, what he had been doing, and why his bed wasn't made. In his anger, he realized that he was in. Problems arose, and his friend said, "Let me find you a girl. It's not right for you to take care of it yourself." A sad Lin Yang said goodbye to the boys and went to his bed. While he slept, the ring charged his body with energy. He dreamed only of houses in some city. When he woke up, he uttered, "The river flows eastward." As he watched the Great Bear constellation in the sky, he stretched and realized that he had slept wonderfully and was full of energy. He took his time and went to the bathroom to brush his teeth. When he looked in the mirror, he was surprised and didn't recognize himself. His face had become more expressive and attractive. He noticed that, overnight, he had become more handsome, as if by magic. He was surprised by this sudden change. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. His eyes widened when he saw that his appearance had changed so drastically, so he decided to put on the t-shirt his mother had bought him, expecting it to be big enough for him to grow into. But, to her amazement, it was tight and too small. Lin Yang realized that she had grown significantly overnight, as if she had transformed into a completely different person. Filled with a sense of bewilderment and excitement, Lin Yang began to examine her new body, walking along the enormous embankment. Lin Yang still felt bewildered by the changes that had occurred. Her mind raced, wondering what could have caused such a strange transformation in her appearance, and he couldn't let anyone steal his spotlight, so he tried to look as elegant and attractive as possible. His secret weapon was a shiny, seductive ring that, despite its affordable Iwan's price, gave him a special charm, her strength. He couldn't figure out if everything was real or just an illusion. When his gaze landed on a large stone on the embankment, Lin Yang decided to put his strength to the test. New abilities. It seemed he had acquired unusual strength and power after all. He decided to approach the stone and hug it in order to ensure his strength. When his hands wrapped around the block, he was stunned. The stone, which weighed half a ton, yielded to his strength with such ease, as if it were a simple wrapper. Lin Yang felt that his strength surpassed normal human capabilities. However, he wasn't finished yet. To further confirm his skills, he decided to throw a stone. He threw it with minimal force, and the stone flew forward a great distance. Lin Yang was still worried about the mystery surrounding his sudden transformation, and his conjectures were still just guesses that needed confirmation. He was sure that there was something unusual had occurred, but there was no proof or explanation for it. Despite everything, Lin Yang looked completely different, fresh, and attractive. On his way home, he unexpectedly ran into Linda Ha and her friends. Linda Ha, recognizing him, immediately noticed his new appearance and stared at Lin Yang mockingly, asking, "How can you even walk after what happened yesterday?" Linda Ha continued, "We were interrupted yesterday, but today I'm going to kick your ass." Lin Yang prepared to correct yesterday's misunderstanding and warned Linda Ha not to try to escape. The senior student laughed at his words. One day, while he was in the university building, he was approached by the beautiful Lin Lele, a student from the music department. Full of confidence in his victory, the guys started punching him one by one, and in droves, but Lin Yang didn't feel any pain. He just hit everyone he came across. Crossed their path, Linda Hai was lying beaten in the grass. while the giant Lin Yang was beating up all of her friends. When Linda got up, he silently approached Lin Yang and uttered only one word, "You." Lin Yang reminded him not to run away. The boy then delivered a strong and forceful punch to the head of the upperclassman, causing his nose to bleed profusely. Linda Hai could barely breathe, realizing that she was in a desperate situation. Lin Yang then discovered Linda Hai's notebook and picked it up. He saw that it had the following words written on it. Second year of sports school, 6th grade. Lin Yang, feeling sorry for Linda Hai, decided not to hold on to his pass and threw it to the ground. Then, with a slight threat in his voice, he warned the older student that if he crossed paths with him again, he would receive the punishment he deserved. At the end of their conversation, he kicked him out, to Linda, demonstrating his power and resolve. As Lin Yang continued walking through the city, he realized that the changes that had occurred were neither a dream nor an illusion. He had truly become much stronger and possessed incredible strength. As he walked, he noticed a girl passing by him, sighed and suddenly saw a bright glow surrounding her, something he hadn't noticed before. It was an aura that radiated around her, something unusual and mysterious. She was an exceptionally attractive girl, and Lin Yang felt that she was exactly the type of girl he wanted by his side. He rubbed his eyes, thinking it might be a result of his unstable vision. However, the aura surrounding the girl did not disappear and remained visible. Just as bright and noticeable as ever, a passing classmate reminded Lin Yang that they had a couple of classes starting soon, and that they should hurry to get there together. They walked towards the university, and on the way, Lin Yang noticed that the boys around him had no aura and seemed perfectly fine, which only confused him further. He continued to ponder this, feeling strange and not understanding what was happening to him. Lin Yang continued on. The girls in the university building noticed that Lin Yang was scrutinizing all the students around him, and they started calling him the weird guy. His intense observation of the people around him was attracting attention and causing bewilderment among the other students. When Lin Yang stared intently at one of the girls, she mistakenly thought he was attracted to her. His gaze was so intense that it made the girl feel embarrassed. Even if slightly misunderstood, his classmate felt embarrassed by Lin Yang's behavior, understanding that his friend was causing. He disconcerted others and could create unpleasant situations with his odd behavior. Upon arriving at class, Lin Yang took a seat at the last desk. In order to have a good view of everyone present, his curiosity and analytical mind had always pushed him to seek answers to his questions, and the question about the strange aura he saw around the girl topped his list of interests. The boys in the class, not understanding, Lin Yang's heart raced when Lin Lele invited him to a college party, promising him that there would be a lot of interesting people there. Lin Yang's interest in the aura began to get angry with him and called him a pervert. They couldn't explain his behavior and decided to tease him, saying it was some kind of strange obsession. Some people in Lin Yang's circle began to worry that his unusual interest might lead him to unpleasant consequences or foolish actions. They wanted to make sure that Lin Yang didn't attract too much negative attention to himself or get into unpleasant situations. The bell rang, and an overweight teacher entered the classroom. Lin Yang couldn't take his eyes off her, and this time, he saw the aura as well, although it was weaker than usual. The teacher noticed Lin Yang staring at her intently, and a smile appeared on her face. She was pleased that a student showed interest in the lesson, or perhaps in her personally. However, the other students were already starting to lose patience and couldn't contain themselves when they saw the Lin Yang's behavior was like this. When the boys in the class turned to Lin Yang, they told him, "Your brother was collecting money so that you would spend it on a girl. Don't do anything stupid." However, Lin Yang didn't exactly understand what those guys wanted from him, and he felt confused and uncomfortable. He was eager to be independent and stand on his own 2 feet. In class, they had an exam, and Lin Yang knew all the answers just by opening his notebook. In a few minutes, which seemed insufficient to the other students to accomplish anything substantial, Lin Yang had already written the entire